سبحان فالق الإصباح.
What's up, guys and gals? This is Do Not Adjust Your Dials. This is a Hamin Media Group Twitch, and this is your declassified edition of the Friday Locker Room. Yes, I am not the fearless leader, bin Hamin. He's right there. And of course, it is my honor and my privilege. Ladies and gentlemen, 3 years. I've been doing podcasting, editing, producing, 3 years in the making, and finally I made it to the show. I got called out to the main roster today. I get to do a podcast today with Stevie Richards. Of course, our fearless leader, Ben Hamin. Mr. Stevie Richards, how are you this morning, sir?
I just want to sit back and watch the show and see this control freak not have control of this show and see how he deals with it. This is going to be interesting. I don't care about the wrestling. I'm just going to observe. People watch. Great to be here with you, Matt. Great to finally. I can't believe it's been 3 years and we've never done a show together. And this Switch Up September thing is an excellent idea that prevents things like that from taking 3 years to happen.
Yeah.
How are you doing, Ben? How are you doing, Ben? You doing okay so far? You're not controlling it.
I know the master controller's got to let go. He keeps us stuck off the realness. Will be the infamous. You heard of us, official Hamin murderers. We're back this morning, you guys, and I do appreciate MSG running the booth after moving into a new spot yesterday, getting set up, and he's in a super producer, so nothing holds him back. He knows he's got deadlines to make, and he had a big spot to do it. So you do the drive, you drive all night long, you make sure you're there, over prepared and ready for your match. And here he is running the show this morning, and I appreciate it. I am a psycho because I do have all the headlines in front of me as well. And we're also thinking about Chris Silvio, who was going to join us today, but he'll be back for Light the Fuse a little bit later, still working on his rehab stuff. And that's far more important than any phony wrestling headlines. We had a great night last night at Conspiracy Horseman, talking, unfortunately, the civil war that seems to be breaking out as we speak right now in Louisville was getting crazier and crazier as we were on air and talking to some of our pundits right there in Louisville. Talked a little about some new sarcophagus that were found in Egypt, and then all the Planet X stooge that you can handle. But we're back here with all your real headlines about a fake sport. The Hamin Media Group is ready to rock and roll, man. Yeah, I feel blown out. It's Thursday. It feels like Thursday to me after I do my Monday through Thursday run. But thankfully, Switch Up September is taking a little off of my plate this week. So thankful to all my producers being fluid and being able to switch it up and find new chemistry together. So thank you to everybody.
So what I tend to do when I'm not at work, because I work full-time at a news station, is I turn off the news, right? When I'm not at work, I don't want to watch news, especially after being inundated with for 40 hours a week. So right. I saw the Breonna Taylor thing was popping off last night. I mean, I'm assuming if something bigger had happened, it'd be all over the news this morning, but
I think it's not all over the news is what's even more scary, to be honest with you, MSG. We were told, that National Guards held up in the hotels there on either side of the bridge. They shut down the bridge from Indiana to Kentucky. We saw what looked like, I said, pretty much you've been playing Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. It looks like everybody from the skate park pretty much emptied out, was paid by Soros, and U-Haul trucks come up with giant signs and shields and all that kind of shit. And looks like they really want to step to it, like they're going to go at cops. And then an hour later, the good old boys from backwoods Kentucky show up, fully strapped, machine guns, armor light gear, fucking baklavas, fucking goggles, helmets, all that. Like, dude, these fucking little kids who are paid by Soros, who just came out of the skate park and community college, think they're going to fucking go tear shit down. And they have been to some degree and walking the line of somewhat peaceful protest, trying to get out frustration, black anger, whatever it is. But now the realness is about to start. And these motherfuckers have no idea, the backwoods dudes, They are tempting. These guys don't want to do shit, but when they unload, it's going to be fast, furious, and fucking fearsome. I'll tell you what. We watched some machine gun shoot from the Kentucky machine gun show, which I've been there, and dude, you ain't going to show up with no fucking skateboard, tell cops to fucking die, and the cops are going to go, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going home, dude. I don't need this shit. You good old boys handle these fucking whippersnappers. And then they'll get handled.
Especially after 2 got shot last night.
Three police officers shot.
Oh wow!
So like we're at the brink of it this weekend, bro.
Yeah, it's a little hectic in the world of I guess the United States itself. A little just craziness. Just everything that's going on out there. Shout out to the people now filing in. Now I put up the signal flare, so they're now filing in on twitch.tv/Hamin Media Group.
Go over and host it on Conspiracy Force.
I want to say too that much like what we saw on WWE TV, these Retribution members also have contracts with George Soros. So,
yeah. Big time contracts for them.
And I remember as they were burning stuff down and shooting the cops, I remember a lot of people were saying it'd be very interesting to see what they do. Nobody was mad. It'd be very interesting.
Oh, so bad, dude. And you just see the difference. So we showed the video live in real time. We had real time streams last night of these fucking children who are paid activists or whatever. You've seen it on Craigslist, but crisis actors to what's Alex Jones's fucking thing for him, where you go and just tear shit up and create chaos. What an agent
provocateurs.
Agent provocateurs. Yeah, I could not think of that last night. Agent provocateurs who are going to try and do that shit, smash windows or whatever. But this ain't Portland. This ain't fucking these little coffee cities where, sure, on Bardstown Road in Louisville, there's a lot of hipsters and 20 to 30 somethings that came through the millennial generation. But you go 20 miles out of the city in any fucking direction, bro, and it's good old boys, dualies, Chevy dualies, 2500s, and not just your shotguns and rifles that I roll with. You go watch that video. These motherfuckers roll up. I'm talking M4s, M16s, AR-15s, fucking Heckler and Koch MP5s. Like, if you don't know what these guns are, fucking go look at this. Ain't your average let's go fucking hunt. This is let's go hunt some fucking millennials and get them the fuck out of our state. And I think we are at that precipice point right now as we watched it unfold live last night.
Wow. We got some intense stuff going on here. I haven't seen anything too bad in Denver yet. Everyone was telling me to be aware. They're like, oh, the riots are happening out there. And I got here and I've been driving downtown and it's very peaceful. So I'm not
Nobody wants to walk up the mountains and shit to like go, fuck, I'm blown up, bro. I got nothing left.
Yeah, the altitude there. Nobody's really in any kind of shape to deal with that.
No,
right?
They keep it within a square like 50 feet. They can't go any further.
Yeah, I was actually talking to Ben before we went on. I was like, I woke up this morning with a little bit of a headache, and that might have been just due to altitude, not drinking enough water. You know what I mean? Getting used to the different weather climate and elevation and whatnot. And I was like, man, I don't usually wake up dead to sleep with a headache. So it was a very peculiar morning. But that being said, we're here, Friday Locker Room. We're presented by thebrosters.com. Visit www.thebrosters.com to pick up yourself a bag of Russo Bro coffee, bro. And of course, you can also go to ZordosOliveOil.com for the finest artists in olive oil. Demetrius Triple D has got a brand new episode of Triple D Star Trek podcast. It's recorded. It's ready to be published. I'm just waiting for him to send me a bio. So that should be out here in the next hour or 2 or 3 hours, whenever we're done. And of course, ProWrestlingTees.com/Stevie Richards/Ben Hamin, SCG shirts, Great God Babadon, and Stevie Richards Fitness. You can get the brand new yoga program, which I'm starting today in my brand new yoga studio in my apartment building. So I'm excited. I'll be doing that here after I do 4 hours of recording. So I'll need it after sitting down.
Well, congratulations too on your move, man. And you were showing the Hamin faithful the new place. Looks like you got some cool amenities there, man. The game room and all that shit looked nice. I'm sure there'll be some single ladies from probably age 23 to 63 that'll be checking in on you soon.
Well, it was definitely different for me. Growing up as a kid, like I always had the idea I want to live in the city and I want to walk to work. So I'm finally getting that opportunity now, but I didn't know all the extra jingle bells and whistles that were going to be thrown into. And that's nice. That's really cool, you know. But even if I didn't have it, I'm just happy that I live like half a mile from work and I can walk or take one of those electric scooters now, which I checked out yesterday for the first time. And you know what? They weren't that bad. I had a little fun time on that electric scooter. It was a good time.
Good.
But we're here to talk about your Friday headlines. And I know it's probably driving Ben crazy. So Ben, why don't you go ahead and introduce the first headline since you've got the headlines up in front of you?
He wants to so bad.
I'll give you back some control. Why don't you go ahead and introduce the first headline?
Last night, let's see what went down. Where do we want to start? I think we're going to start with the return of Cody AE last night. That's the big night, big news coming out of the show. Pretty rough show last night. 2 rough shows in a week back to back for them. 3 matches with a lot of botches in it, dude, especially the opener. Oof, it was rugged. But Cody comes back, and he's not blonde Cody. He's dark-haired evil Cody in a black shirt, dark tie, and a black vest and a pocket watch chain. That really set it off. And he comes in and kicks the shit out of Brodie. Well, not Brodie Lee. Brodie Lee was in there way too long with Orange Cassidy. Just ridiculous. 50-50 working last night when guys should have been going over strong.
Brodie beats him Brodie beats Cody in 4 minutes, but it took him 15 minutes to beat Orange Cassidy.
To beat Orange Cassidy, right? Like, and then Brodie powders and leaves, and then Cody gets his shit in on the Dork Order, and he looks vicious, and it's Dark Cody. He's back now with black raven hair, and that's going to make all the difference. You know what it was. The chief bikini officer was not in the house, but there was one really good thing last night. The post promo in that. So Brodie's backstage and he calls that shit out. He goes, "You let your wife go on Instagram and put out these thirst traps." Now, I like that he's shooting, but this isn't the guy to do it. This is your David Miscavige. This is fucking your Vince knockoff. And now he's actually doing bang, bang, shoot promos on how the locker room feels about Cody and Brandy. There's a lot of animosity that I've heard backstage there. And now he's saying that kind of shit. And like, Brodie Lee shouldn't be saying thirst trap, you know what I mean? And then to start with, and then putting over all the Instagram stuff, all the bikini stuff, pretty much everything we've said out here. And even plus he goes, and you just go out and you go in your little bubble with your other friends. There's a shot at fucking Stephen Amell and the heels thing with what's going on that way. I think there's a fair amount of animosity. The bigger story here is the animosity I've heard about backstage with Cody saying he doesn't want to be Triple H and then doing every Triple H action and more to ensure that he's looked at that way is interesting to me and some weird self-fulfilling prophecy. But after a lackluster AEW show, there was a lot of inside shots fired on their own guys last night, man.
Stevie, do you subject yourself weekly to AEW? I know you do for Raw.
I just watched a clip of Cody returns because he was so much different, but he still felt the need to have pyro and special lighting and a Titan shrine. So and a pocket watch, which, yeah, I mean, I've always been very confused by the Cody Rhodes gimmick of being like when he was with the Bucks and they were talking about all this stuff and cool and forward thinking. And the Bucks do look like, hey, these are guys that can't identify with the youth. And then you got the world's oldest 30-year-old with a pink suit coat and an orange tie and a blue shirt and pink shoes. And that's supposed to be, I mean, he looks like he's going golfing with fucking Ted McKnight from Caddyshack. I mean, that's the boys. That's what, hey, if I walked in and I dressed up right, the boys were supposed to rib each other on that. I wonder if that's starting to spill over because of the silent, like, look at this guy, look at this, look at these kids running this company. Like, and then you got somebody like Brodie Lee who comes in. He knows his spot's probably secure by now. So now he can really just start to say whatever he wants. And it's just on TV. So I'm just working the gimmick. That's all I'm doing. And it could kind of be a Vince thing because maybe he's saying the stuff that Vince wishes he could just come out and publicly say about his talent.
Hey, Ben, when was the last time you called somebody a weenie?
Yeah, that could. Fourth grade, I think, was probably the last time. Even then, I probably would have called you a dumb fucking cocksucker, to be honest with you. But in fourth grade, I was swearing pretty good.
Oh,
Called somebody
A what? You cut off again. Spectrum. They have a higher
weenie. The best friends came out and called somebody a weenie. That was their big slam last night.
Well, it could be. I mean, let's check the FBI coded words list. That could mean something else.
Be something completely different. To not further on this, but you said the Bucks, and I'll give you the inside scoop of what I get, man, and not from who or where, but where we've all worked together before in multiple places. And I had no issue. Cody was always cool to me at OVW, man. But then whatever this, empowerment has happened, I think the Bucks are against them now. I've heard from them that they have put over that, not from them, but, through other channels of like, that's what Cody did. He came in, glommed onto the being the elite thing. So did Adam Cole. Adam Cole was brutal in those. If you go back and watch them, just didn't fit, wasn't cool. And I
didn't watch those first 50 episodes because they weren't good.
Their new ones aren't good either. But the fucking, so he parlays that into an NXT shot based off of them, playing it smart of, he's going there. We can get one of them. Let's do it. And fucking, he parlayed that into there in his little piece. Sure. But now Cody splitting off and doing this stuff with Mel and whatever, trying to get his wife over 4 or 5 different ways. And it's not working whatsoever. And then I heard, kind of sequestering himself with Khan and changing finishes on business that's not even his and things along those lines has bred in that being the elite a very bad chemistry between them all. And that's your vice presidents. I've heard that Omega is just checked out and would rather play video games and not even talk wrestling or do anything. These are your vice presidents. Your whole boardroom is in shambles and nobody's saying yes and as a team and having group mind think tanks where they're all on the same page. Everybody's just bucking for their own business at this point. So they might have fooled those SJWs fans early on with their big rallies outside the arena. If we were to look back to those and we're the coolest and we're changing wrestling and we're doing this, that, and the other, but all around the world, same song, man, same old song.
Around the world.
Yeah. So that's what I see as a backstage, or what I hear. I don't see. I hear is what's going on there is the chemistry. Now layer that into the Brodie promo and it takes on a little bit more weight.
Let me bury myself for a second, but I'm also proud at the same time. The fact that I do shop at Goodwill for clothes. I do go to 32 Degrees and buy $6 shirts that are soft and $5 soccer shorts. So Cody can bury that all he wants. I'm very proud of that at the same time because my money stays in the bank.
Well, I mean, that's probably why they were late for the meeting, I imagine, because they're like, we can't be seen with this guy.
There you go.
Got him back on that one. He tried to go around me. I'll wait in the cut. I'll get my stabs in. That's just inside jokes between Stevie and I, not privileged information. So yeah, man, Cody's back. No Brandy. Dark Cody.
That's right. He got rid of the blonde hair. A couple different. I was speculating this with Rick, and I'm going to stew just off. Rick's actually jumping on the AEW show with us today for Switch Up September, along with I haven't booked Billy Ray Valentine, so we'll see if he shows up and he's available as well. But Rick's thought was that he mentioned he's got some outside projects. You, of course, also alluded to the fact of him doing the heel show. Is it because Miro's got blonde hair? Like, they don't want to do 2 blonde hairs?
Yeah, that's a good reason to switch it, but Miro never should have been blonde. And Cody's dark, fighting the Dark Order. Like, those guys are all the dark dudes. Why would you be a dark dude to combat that? If anything, that's what Colt Cabana's new look should have been if you wanted to fucking bring him out and redo him that way. So even in the confines of good guys wear white, bad guys wear black, we've blurred that line, and he knows it too. He's like, now you'll see the dark side of Cody. I had to go dark in order to defeat the Dark Order this time.
Stevie, while working for any of the number of promotions you worked over the years, did anybody ask you to dye your hair an odd color, blue, yellow, pink, something weird?
No, when I did the
up?
thing with Chronic, I had to dye my hair black for that for some reason because they wore black shirts. So that was a Bruce Pritchard call. Another amazing, call by him.
What was the color of the wig? What was the color of the wig that Vince wanted you to wear?
Red. Lots of people, by the way, have were traumatized. You and Russo weren't. You just moved on with your normal business. But lots of people were traumatized by my story and couldn't quite believe it. And actually said, even though it was comedy, it was extremely creepy. And I was like, I can concur with that. It will be denied, but it will. Yeah, it was. I was saving for the book, but I brought it out on the Russo show
and got no empathy.
Got no empathy. Then they were like, "Oh, let's just talk about this 1.3 rated segment."
Oh shit, man!
All right. Well, let's move.
Twitch.tv/Hamin Media Group for Switch Up September. Also hosting right now, Twitch.tv/Conspiracy Horseman. Appreciate everybody last night as we switched it up once again. And they had a good time, man, yesterday for the morning show. Really great interview with John Hartnett on the Impact Attack. Gave us a good 25 minutes talking Colby Covington, President Trump calling, what's going on and who he sat next to on the ride home on the plane. Pretty interesting as well. I won't stooge that off. Go listen to the Impact Attack. And thanks to John Hartnett and Colby Covington Inc. For giving us the inside stooge, man. We're always taken aback a bit when we see how close we are. 3 degrees of separation from the Oval Office right now. Like, wouldn't take much for Hamin to get on the phone with Donald Trump is the reality of what we could make happen. And that is terrifying in itself. Did they ever show up for that meeting? Did they ever show or no?
Who?
Stevie?
What's that?
Did they ever show up for that meeting or no?
What you gotta clue me on this. So my CT is kicking in. I've been up since 4 a.m.
Supposed to be there at 6:30, and I'm with a group of people, and I can't.
Oh yeah. They showed up around 7. The Hollywood. They walked right by me too. That was great. I was gonna choke Luke out from behind. It was It was actually a very nice night. And my thing with watching, I actually was with the stuntmen and the producers of this show, Heels, which I'll never be a part of because of Cody and Amel and my friendship with Ben and Russo. You've ruined my life. Once again, no Hollywood for me. And because Tuesdays, I have to work Tuesdays. So that's a big deal. But if I had to work Saturdays, every Saturday would be filmed. Just the way I'm prepared for this. But I sat there with a bunch of really cool guys. The fans were nice. It's cool to always be remembered and people recognize you and be respectful. But my entertainment for the night was actually watching the stunt coordinator and the producers' faces as they watched this Southern Fried Indie-rific wrestling. And he's got, and I walked into the locker room and let everybody know, hey, no pressure. There's a bunch of TV producers out there. No pressure at all. And I walked out of the locker room.
Oh, great stuff.
My work is done here.
Walked into the locker room, dropped the grenade, and walked out, right?
One of my pet peeves, and I know I was like 3 minutes late this morning, but one of my pet peeves is like being at a meeting and then 20, 30, 40 minutes go by and they're not there. And I had to drive an hour. And it's past my bedtime at like 7 p.m. So I'm done. So, yeah, I'm proud. Thank you for the support of the proud gay Americans.
Great stuff at Russo's brand this week. A lot of inside jokes. If you're missing and it's going over your head, go become a subscriber because we're tying everything in, all from Master Shoot to Russo's Raw and SmackDown review to your Friday locker room. It's all in the same universe. Go ahead, Maddie.
So first topic here, so you don't have to read the copy. Earlier this week, The Rock spoke about possibly returning to wrestle on his YouTube channel, and he admits that facing the big dog would make the most sense. You know, you and I have talked about this, and it's so funny how a lot of people always say, well, if you ever go back to WrestleMania, who would be the opponent that you would want to face? And it feels like the one that would make sense right now would be Roman in terms of box office draw. Stevie Richards, Mr. Richards, Dr. Stevie, would you like to see The Rock take on Roman Reigns at WrestleMania? I know how excited you are. Yeah, you look, your joy is just emanating. I can tell.
it's almost like it's so internal, the excitement that I keep it in, that it almost seems like I'm calm and uninspired by it. Even The Rock couldn't save this product unless he came back full time each and every week, which would be a complete waste of his time. The only reason he is going to come back is to do his family a solid, wrestle him, and try to give the rub to Roman Reigns at probably WrestleMania, I would guess. But he's got to run a football league now. He makes what, $80 to $100 million a year. He's got the Black Adam movie coming out, the crossover for the DCU extended universe, and then I'm going to wrestle in front of no people. I wonder what I would pick.
There's another interesting little side on that with The Rock as well. What's the Black Adam? Is that what the film's called?
Yeah, the DC movie.
Right. So I don't know if there was power outages, I think he said, in his area. And he went up to his front gate, which was, in his gated mansion, and it wouldn't open. And there's a thing where it's happened before where it's on some backup where it should open and it didn't. So he just ripped, 2-inch steel plates off the side of the pillars and threw them on the side lawn, like went and raged on him and went crazy, and then drove his truck to the set and shot the movie. Okay, funny little Instagram post, but didn't you just post a week ago that your family has COVID and all that shit? So how is The Rock allowed to go shoot movies and make sure that he's not under quarantine for 14 days like everybody else is, man? Like, it's these things that expose, and people thought that The Rock, his promo was nothing more than an agenda push to keep this shit going, as Hollywood will tell you to do whatever, and you're going to fucking jump tutu or jump into tutu and become the Tooth Fairy, whatever the fuck. So people were suspect of that promo from the jump on some Tom Hanks, Rita Wilson were the first ones with COVID in Australia shit. And then a week later on his own social media, he's ripping the fucking front gates off of his own house so he can make sure he's at the movie set for shooting. Tell me, I'm holding two diametrically opposing ideas in my mind at the same time, which is the exact definition of doublethink from 1984.
I thought you were going to make another kind of joke about him ripping the gate off and some other wellness policy violation stuff or something.
That's why he could do
it.
COVID
makes you stronger and puts 40 pounds of muscle on you. That's the way to tell it. I don't want the vaccine then. I want COVID.
Finally, The Rock has COVID.
It's it is really telling that there's one of two ways to look at that when you talk about Tom Hanks, his wife, every basketball player or major person, and The Rock gets it, to a lesser extent, but not to put it down like that. Lance Archer has it, but it just seems like either, hey, regular people getting it doesn't matter. We're not going to put that out there because that doesn't draw ratings. We need people on the forefront to be the face of this thing. And also, it's just weird how they all get it, but then they don't talk about an inspirational thing of, hey, you're going to recover from this. It's only going to take a couple weeks. Most of us are going to be fine.
Mm-hmm.
He says he had COVID, but he never documented how was it? Very weird. Not saying he didn't get it, but he might have had a bad flu. And just remember, I'm going to give a little scientific stuff here, Matt and Ben. I was looking at how the CDC has reversed course a bunch of different times, right, and how the number is 9,000 instead of 200,000 from true COVID deaths. And speaking personally, I've done it here on the locker room before. My mom had, lung issues, breathing issues from smoking. She was pretty much going for a long time. She had a COPD for 5 years. She died, and from what I understand, it was labeled as COVID. How's that possible? She was in hospice. She was going, but because the hospital got more money for the COVID death on the certificate than they would for COPD or natural causes or whatever it might have been. That's what it is. But on a scientific note, the reason why a lot of people are testing positive and all the tests are coming back positive or false positive in the case of, like, I think Matthew Stafford from the Detroit Lions and other people in the NFL, is because of the number of spins on a centrifuge. They say you should only spin I mean, I'm giving a random number here, like maybe 20, 25, 27 times. These things are being spun 35 times, 35 plus times, which means the more you spin, it's going to pick up this stuff. So if you spin it 100 times, they could all have AIDS. Or so, I'm just saying theoretically, you could spin it 100 times and it just catches everything. So right there, the tests are already compromised on top of the fact that the numbers and the true nature of anybody getting sick or dying are already suspect.
Any data can be skewed in order to fit the narrative of what they want to do to push the agenda, right?
Yeah.
That sounds like there's this episode of South Park where Stan is trying to return Randy's Margaritaville. He finally makes it all the way to Washington behind closed doors, and how they decide everything is by cutting the head off of a chicken and then throwing the chicken on this giant, wheel of choices, and then the chicken just runs around and whatever falls, that's the choice that they go with. So that's what it sounded like to me.
All right.
I'm sorry, we got Retribution out here outside my window. We got Weed Whacker. We got Weed Whacker out there from Retribution.
Retribution.
I heard there's a wellness policy violation. You're not taking your gas, Richards, and I'm here to inject you.
So I have not got to see the full Impact Attack yet. I only got to see the first hour, but I did want to bring this up today on the Friday Locker Room because I think it's a good story to talk about. Mr. Road Warrior Hawk, his partner, now Mr. Laurinaitis Animal, he's passed away. It was Paul Ellering who put the idea to put Laurinaitis together with Mike Hegstrud, aka Road Warrior Hawk, as a stable of heels called the Legion of Doom. They started out as mere bikers. The gimmick was tweaked as they went along, eventually adding the iconic and often duplicated face paint and spiked shoulder pads that became synonymous with the Road Warriors. Of course, together the Road Warriors, the Animal Hawk, became one of the most decorated tag teams of the 80s and 90s, winning gold in All Japan, Georgia Championship Wrestling, the AWA, WCW, and WWE. For those watching here on Twitch, maybe who don't hang out with us in the Facebook land, Mr. Animal himself, he was actually in part of the Hamin Media discussion group the last 2 years. So we've been all able to interact with him and chat with him. And it was kind of, it hit us, a couple of us different hard because we were just talking to him over the weekend and then he was gone. So rest in peace. We'll throw it to you, Stevie. Did you get an opportunity to work with Animal over the years? Do you have any interactions with him?
No, actually not really any at all. All the interactions I've witnessed really were in the Hamin group. 60 years old. Some people might think that's old, but it's really not old. And somebody that worked out and led a very physical lifestyle, it kind of can go either way. He was a workout guy. He's a guy that trained hard, but also traveled a lot. And the life of any kind of person that puts that kind of stress on their body over decades and decades, you just never know, man. In life in general, it could have just been a freak thing. I don't know what the cause of death was. Hopefully it was peaceful or something where he didn't suffer. But more importantly, now his family, his son James, his brother is John. If you watched him as a GM on TV,
hey guys, right?
Yeah. But in this case, no joke about Johnny or the wife. The wife now is a widow and left without somebody that she spent, an entire marriage with and raised children and family issues and all that stuff. It's a crazy thing. It's a mystery. I know we have our different beliefs and everything with this, but the fact somebody can be here one moment and then they're gone in an instant, and how fleeting life can be. And, James Laurinaitis here is quoted as saying, he's sorry he didn't have a chance to say goodbye. And that's going to be something that kid's going to live with forever. Like, I just never got even a chance to say, I love you one last time or goodbye, or maybe there were things that were left unsaid, and that's a terrible regret to have.
On the flip side, Ben, you mentioned to me that gas causes, fatalities at times. Do you think that this potentially dozens of years of him doing the business that this might have led to?
Yin and yang, man. I was fortunate to work 2 or 3 shows with him, never on the same thing. Obviously, he was just a autograph draw on the poster, but it always was awesome to me. And we'd watch some indie-rific bullshit, some Southern Fried bullshit, and look at each other and be like, wow, they're fucking rotten. And that was enough of a connection with me and Animal to be like, all right. And obviously to have him in the Hamin Media discussion group was always just like, everybody fucking better straighten up and fly right, because here's who's watching. And when he responds, it's because the conversation was worth it, and high level fans talking, where it's not going to be some mark out shit for Animal, you know. But you want to be over in the 80s and 90s, that means you do a lot of fucking whatever, Sus, Winstrol, D-Ball, Deca, and on Dansteron, whatever it is, dude. Like, and every little bit of that you do that gets you up on the top of the card to make your name worldwide synonymous, from Japan to UK to America, Canada, Mexico. Everybody knows What a Rush. Everybody knows the shoulder pads. It's part of world history at this point. But every time you do that shit for 20 years, you're taking pretty much a year off of your life doing that kind of stuff, man. Your heart enlarges. It doesn't go back down. It doesn't like your muscles do when you go off the gas. Once you take that stuff, your organs and that enlarge, and then they're stressed out the rest of the time. And as we get older, and you know, things can fail. It could have been, I know I read he passed in his sleep, which I'm happy that way. But you know, the inside of your heart, those walls could break down just like that. It's tragic, but at the same time, that's the price you pay for fame and fortune. I'm glad he got to see his boy become a star in the NFL. That's probably a big thing for a milestone for a dad, I can imagine. And he enjoyed talking to the fans. Why else would a guy of his level be in the fucking Hamin Media discussion group? You know what I mean? Looking for that connection. And I invited him to it after we had done that show, and I was very surprised that he did it. But you know, from What a Rush to whatever it is that everyone has, when that hit, you know, shit got real, man. When they were coming to the ring, them boys, the Monsters of the Midway, were gonna fuck shit up, and you were always looking forward to it, because look at those guys. That's real men. Like, size wise, you know, you ain't going to tell them what the fuck to do. We're not children. We can go out and cut a promo, get over when we're supposed to go over strong on somebody. We're not going to pull 15 minutes with Orange Cassidy. It's Doomsday Device, and we're going to the back, brother. Like, that's what it is. So to see another iconic name from that generation be lost, and affecting everybody, you know, they had such a effect on all of our imaginations and love and passion for wrestling in the 80s and 90s. You know, that's how it goes in our business, man. So I'm thankful that we had that time to interact. I'm thankful for all the times of escapism when I was a fan. But these are the lessons. There's always consequences. You can find your enlightenment through many, many paths, even alcohol or whatever, but there's always going to be a price to pay with that at the end of the day. So.
It's always a lesson to be learned, and this is where, when I see stuff like this and I see one of the boys go, no matter what the circumstances are, or I see one of the guys that are living a life that is suffering, or something that seems to be going in a certain direction, it emboldens me, and it solidifies me to be even more so, you know, what I can be. Because life is fleeting, and I have a responsibility to the people that love me to be the best that I can. I worry about, on the side note, the CTE stuff and everything worries me, and I do everything I can to keep my mind sharp, because it's not me. I mean, if it were just me, it'd be like, okay, I'm going to fade away, do whatever, but it's the burden that I would leave on the people that do still have their wits about them. So just a side note, that you can get some positive out of anything. Sure. So this guy died way before his time. This guy left a family and loved ones. What can you do today, and what can you do from now on to prevent that from happening early? And if it does, God forbid, what kind of stress can you take off your family to say, my affairs are in order? All they have to do is grieve, not worry about all the logistical bullshit and the financials and other things that can make it even more terrible.
Stevie Richards' life insurance policy coming soon.
Yeah. Well, you know, Flair had figure 4 loans, so I mean, I'm sure that's what he's going to have next.
I can help you out with your mortgage, get it down to 15 years. If you want,
if you want, I can help you out with the reverse
it afterwards.
Yeah, exactly.
The reverse. The other thing with that Stevie said is profound. And his son, John, right? That's his son's name.
Yep.
You know,
James. I'm sorry.
John's his brother. That he didn't get to say goodbye. And I think with a lot of young people, this is a lesson you need to learn, because Unfortunately, I've suffered this lesson 3 times with 2 of my best friends lost at a way younger age than this, 22 and 35, with a full family at 35, 3 kids and whatnot, very young and just senseless and tragic deaths. And they crush me. And that, makes me who I am too, to live every day, because I know that tomorrow, and as much as my atheism figures into it, you're a candle in the wind. You can be snuffed out that quick, or somebody can be. I mean, I hate to talk tragedy, but shit, what's his name? Hugh Morris,
Bill
DeMott losing, his daughter over some drunk driver like that. We think our lives are so protected, but the reality is we're so fragile. And it's about taking those moments to let Stevie and Matt know that I love them and I appreciate them. You hear me say appreciation a lot to people, because I know what loss is, and not being able to say it, not leaving things unsaid. So if there's really a bigger thing to take away from it, you might be fighting with your girlfriend, your wife, your kids, whatever. And even if they're being a fucking asshole to you today because they're not getting it, because they've got their own stuff, try and take a moment and appreciate somebody or somebody you love very much, and let them know that, even if it's in a fleeting conversation at the end. If I'm talking to Serena about her gear, or I'm going to review her match, it ends with, thank you, Popsy. I love you. I love you too, girl. Go ahead and go kick ass. Go do your fucking thing. Because we know that something could happen tomorrow, because I don't want to have to put my head down and go, dude, I never said it to her. I never said it to my wife. I never said it to my friends. And that is something shitty to live with, because I do live with that, whether it's Bill or Hooch. And now James knows it, unfortunately, for his own father. And I'm sure it'll get easier as time goes on. It never really heals, if you're listening to this and it, but a lot of young people don't know about loss of life until it really $5 face slaps them across the fucking head. So if you're listening to this, take that moment and take this advice and appreciate the people today in your life who are living, breathing, and being a part of making you who you are, successful or not, because somebody might need that pickup at the end of the day. And it also inspires them to say it back to you or to somebody else. And now you've set something in motion that's all positive. So,
very well said. 2020, though, guys, it's been one heck of a year for, I guess, society. A lot of people are dying. People are getting sick. Wars are starting.
Are they though? Are wars starting? Are people?
Well,
that's a fucking hype, bro.
That's what I was. Well, that was going to be my point. I was going to say. Meanwhile, I feel like I've had a hell of a year. I've had a great year. I feel like you guys have had great years as well. I feel Hamin Media Group, we've had most of everybody on it, aside from some sickness and some health issues with family members. Individually, everybody's had a really good year. So when I watch people.
Group health with Stevie Richards Fitness, it's not just to sell some programs. The Hamin Media Group is about self-improvement and moving everybody's level up. And you can't do that if you're not taking your own mental health and physical health seriously. That's the first steps. You can't be the best you if you're trying to do all this other shit and you're not taking care of the fundamental system that it takes to run it. That's just the truth. And those who have all are leveling up every day. I see people going up and up and up, because it's not about just the health and feeling good. It's about taking ownership and mastery of your life. And once you can do that in that realm, now you can do it in your professional realm, your personal realm, your love life and sex life is going to get better. You're going to look better. You're going to be able to last more than 2 minutes and whatever it is, so all that kind of
guarantee that my program.
That's not it.
It said that in the fine text. It says, while you should be doing this.
The parody disclaimer book is coming soon. I've already written about 6 pages on how not to use the bands to murder yourself, or do not stooge off Hillary Clinton, or and carry your bands with you. You'll be hanging from a doorknob. I was going to say too that this is the thing too about what's going on in the world and society and wrestling. Ben and I, and I'm sure you, Matt, everybody who reviews it, has to fight kind of like the drama of the negativity and toxicity, because it's fun to criticize the product and it's easy to criticize it because there's so many people out there that are just giving lip service and probably on the payroll to provide marketing and PR for places like AEW. With us, it's tough because we find ourselves exhausted at the end of the week, because it does exhaust us, because we realize the place that professional wrestling has when it all really comes into perspective. So what we're trying to do on the other end is have something to counter it positively. We have brands that support positive movement, and it's hard. It's an internal struggle, because the wrestling, at least for Ben and myself, and for you, Matt, because the interning for Ben provided you with an opportunity to work in a place where you'll get paid and give you a career. It's a double-edged sword, because it can bring you down and depress you, and you got to pull yourself back up with a equally or more so positive project that's going to pull you out of the abyss. So what I'm trying to say is, like, people don't even realize, like, they get caught up in the bullshit of wrestling or the bullshit of even the world, to not realize, like Ben said, it could be gone just like that. And also, we live in a very weird, desensitized society where, has anybody ever really beat anybody up? Have you ever been in a real fight? Have you ever hit somebody and punched them in the jaw and see their head bounce off the concrete? You feel terrible. Not as terrible. I mean, you feel terrible when it happens to you, and it's happened to me on both sides. But when you look at somebody for that split second and say, did I just kill this guy? Like, it's the worst feeling in the world. But we live in a video game, Call of Duty, Grand Theft Auto society where you pull the trigger on a gun. Oh, that's okay. He's got 3 more lives. No, it's not Call of Duty. You can't respawn. And that's what I think is also missing, the consequential actions or words that people have, even from commenting on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. They don't realize that there's long-lasting things, not only to the person you say it to, but within yourself, that can destroy you.
Mm-hmm.
That all envelops in the road warrior animal lesson of just fucking, dude, we gotta change the perspective on everything, and we gotta be a little more positive. We make fun of the wrestling, but we make fun of wrestling because it's way, way down, really low in the priorities of what really matters.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it happens too, is it's taken so seriously that it's never going to live up to anybody's expectations, to just be the fun bullshit parody product that it is. I don't know what point I was trying to make.
But seriously, that you have to answer a fan on Twitter based off of a fucking video that you couldn't just let slide while you're making millions of dollars. Like, you really have to risk it.
That's a disease.
That's
like,
a disease.
You can't look at it and say, I make a lot of money to get paid this. This is a person's opinion. That's cool. Just please watch and buy my t-shirt. Link them to WWE shop. Well, the clearance section.
Why couldn't he do a Ben Hamin ProWrestlingTees.com/Ben Hamin and throw up the Braun section as a fuck you? Like, what if he just did that? Go buy my merch. It's a buy my merch. I have shirts. What the fuck are you? Like, without saying it, that's all he would need to do, right? But no, we can't. We have to be affected by everything. And
if he was a smart guy, he would have tried to, like you said, you guys would probably get along great. He'd probably look and say, dude, you like to shoot guns. I like to shoot gun. Let's talk about shooting guns.
I like hip hop. You fucking, like, there's plenty there for us, but no, had to.
You dress in bikinis. I dress in bikinis, right?
True. I mean, all that shit. I love it all.
That's how the AEW girls thing is going to bring people together. $50 a month or a year or whatever.
Wait till you see the bikini I got laid out for that. I got it off of Goldilocks half price after her latest shoot. I'm going to go upstairs and take care of some Broaster's coffee right now. You guys continue on.
Sure. Stevie, you were talking about trying to do, balance the positive with the negative. I find myself doing like positive affirmations daily. Like, I remind myself certain things, like I'm a strong, young, confident, successful, loving, caring individual person, right? And I'll repeat that over to myself to try and bring myself up. What type of, is there anything you do? I know you probably more or less pray, I'm assuming, probably for, good things and good fortune timing. For your family.
He left.
Right,
so
exactly.
Talk about praying. Yeah, I do. It's not so much. I there's times I do drop to my knees because I'm just like, I have no clue. I'm no different than anybody else. But waking up in the morning and just realizing, man, I can get out of bed. I can walk. I can go to a gym that I have right here in my house, a few feet away, which right now a lot of people can't. And the workout within itself, escapes me that I'm able to do this stuff. And also the responsibility of having the Stevie Richards Fitness brand or having something online, not saying that I'm somebody who's a role model or anything like that, but my brand does have a responsibility where I need to try to look my best. I need to try to back up what I'm trying to promote with the programs and the videos and stuff like that. As a matter of fact, Ben's gone, but what I want to do, it's kind of weird. I've been trying to figure out another aspect of content creation and doing different things and categories or niches and all that stuff. And I'm going to center more on the fitness and health and nutrition on the YouTube channel. But I've wanted to do a podcast. I love having a radio show. I don't care about the video as much. And I want to create something, but I also want to do what you just said with, I want to set myself up for the day as well. So I'm thinking about doing a morning podcast 5 days a week. It doesn't have to be, it could be 5 minutes, it could be 15. It's kind of immediately after my workout. I sit down right here, I record or even stream video. It'll probably be like 6 a.m. every morning, Monday to Friday, which is usually when I end my workouts. And that's what it's going to be. Hey, this is what's going on with me today. This is what I think is the lesson for the day for me, maybe for you as well. That kind of stuff. I'm even thinking about a fitness term for it called like the morning warm-up with Stevie Richards, and it'll just be a morning show. Russo gave me that idea about a morning kind of warm-up show, and that's kind of where I'm at right now. And also that's very much so, like you said, Matt, you're preparing yourself for the day of negativity and people that are trying to pull you down. And I could be that person. You could be that person. Ben could be that person. We all have those moments where we want to bitch and just get it out, and we feel like we might drag people down. But I feel like that's why I was just saying, Ben, I think I might have the niche I was looking for and the thing I was looking for the content creation.
It's the Wake Up Show, Sway 4-5, Stevie Richards in the morning, live hip hop, bringing it to you live yoga. We're ready to do it. Get up out of there, get your Broasters coffee, and let's stretch this and get our day on, everybody.
Well, everything sounds great except for the hip hop part, but it's just terrible music. I don't like it. Method Man, let's work out together. Well, I was talking to Matt about how I wanted to do possibly 5 mornings a week, 6 a.m., because I'm usually up. I'm done my workout, right from my workout, sit here and do 5 days a week, stream it, record it, throw it up as a video on my YouTube channel, an audio version. And it can be anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes or however long it's going to be. And call it, well, Russo had said it, call it like the morning warm up, call it the morning warm up with Stevie Richards. And
mornings with Mana, the double entendre of Mana. Well, Mana is right
from heaven. Yeah,
from heaven. So why not go with it, man? I think it's all right.
Having the last name Mana and going to Catholic grade school was an absolute just joy to be teased.
Are we talking about Final Fantasy where you collect mana so you can buy stuff?
That's it. God gave us mana in the wilderness, right? That was a miracle too. Wonder of wonder, miracles of miracles. See, I can bring back anything to musicals. That's from Fiddler on the Roof as well. But yeah, that's where I learned about mana for the first time. And it's even in what was that fucking teenage girl witch movie with
Sabrina?
No, it was before that. It was like the chick with
the
crazy eyes. Even I think it was the one that like girls were really into Wiccan and all that type of shit, but they were talking about it as well. And they're out in the forest giving
I know what you're talking about, but I don't remember the name of the movie.
No, there's Teen Witch. Witches of Eastwick. No, no,
it was God damn it. She's got is it Feruza Balk is her name? She's got big fucking eyes. She looks like the chick.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. What the Craft.
The Craft, yeah. So they talked about it in there as well. And I think why not use the shoot name if it's a morning thing? People are gonna know if it's under the Stevie Richards band. I like Morning Mana. Give us a little something.
Go ahead.
You want me to give you something? I don't know. 9:30. I'm already worn down.
Mr. Hamin, have we announced the winners yet, or the finalists for the 5 stars? Have we done that? Can we do that?
Have we announced the winners? No, we can do it now as far as the final. And
wait till the end. Wait till the end. We still got to get the wrestling out of the way, please.
All right.
We've been all over the place for your first show with us, Matt. We're usually not this. Usually we go off on a tangent about just Cody's pocket watch for like a half hour. But
All right, well, let's talk about the next thing here. I can go with either AEW, Impact, whatever you guys want to talk about there. Ben, what do you want to go with here? There's a lot of different things here we could go.
Give me a choice here.
AEW, Impact.
Yeah, let's stay with AEW now. We'll get it out of the way.
All right, so Miro made his in-ring debut last night. I don't know if you saw his brand new gear there, Ben Hamin. He came out with kind of like some mixed martial arts shorts. Based on what you saw from his like actual, I guess you might say, Florida outfit he was wearing the week before, turning around with the gear. What did you think about the gear he had this week?
The gear is awesome. That's how he should look. He's gassed to the fucking gills, bigger than he's ever been in WWE. Apparently playing video games on Twitch will fucking get you stupid shredded. So I got to start doing that more. And he comes down looking like a badass motherfucker that he should have, not some, I don't know what that was. He looked like a 50-year-old mom who was fucking going to pick up some Fruity Pebbles for her kids who were bitching at the store. Like whatever that outfit was, and they thought it was over. Gucci this, Gucci that. Screw all that. Like, look at what a real man wants to see. Like Stevie Richards says, you can go to fucking $5 and below and buy your shit. You don't have, like, nobody's impressed with like, oh, he's got a Gucci Mickey Mouse shirt on, a pink shirt, and this guy's supposed to be Ivan Drago, the fucking super killer. Like, come on, dude. And now this week we're going to get it right on week 2. Nope. Only one chance to make a first impression. I already saw you in some leopard fucking pajama pants and a pink top, but now he looks like a fucking killer. And he's with Kip Sabian, which is weird enough. So who are they going to fight? Joey Janela and Sonny Kiss. Okay, whatever. Kip Sabian's in there doing what he should, indie-rific style. Miro tags in, kills everybody. And then tags
Well, did you
out.
see the spot where Joe Janela almost looked like he took out?
There was 8 spots in this match that'll all be on Botchamania. This match was dog shit. If you go back,
I just meant right from the raw. As soon as he gets in the ring, like Miro, he tries to knock him out, and it looked like his leg, like he looked like he hurt himself, like 30 seconds in his first match on AEW.
Hand out of the ring, and he rolls his ankle. Miro does, and he's fucking on the cell. I'm like, is he just on the cell? Nope, he got shit canned out, rolled his ankle. So there's one. Then he's on the outside. They fucking throw Joey Janela at him, so he up and overs him over the barricade. Janela lands on his feet because Sonny Kiss is supposed to come in, feed right in, and take another one so they get the shit in bump over the top. Instead, it's late, and Miro's going, come on. Janela's just sitting in the back on the fucking steps waiting to take the fucking bump, not on the cell whatsoever. Then he goes to fucking give Sonny Kiss the snabits. That gets fucked over too. They both land on the concrete and everybody looks fucking rotten. Then later in the match, they're doing some shit with Kip Sabian on the outside where they're supposed to feed Janela for some spinning fucking neck breaker bullshit on the apron. That gets all fucked up sideways too. All these spots are stupid. Here's what should have happened. That match should have ended 6 minutes earlier. Sabian does all that shit with them. As soon as Miro comes in and fucking kills them all, that's it, bro. We go home. Miro can't come in, kill everybody, tag out, and then the match goes another 6 minutes because he just fucking killed this guy as a world beater. They don't know how to book whatsoever. This 50-50 shit when you got half tranny in there who looks like they belong at the gay strip club. You got a fucking guy who's not as jacked as the guy who pumps my fucking gas. And now you got a guy who's on all the fucking gas who could take their heads and fucking knock them together for 4 hours, and there's nothing they could fucking do about it. He's doing thigh slaps on his kick, and they're not going down, and Miro's not killing them in 3 seconds. We're absolutely wrong out of the gate. And they said, Tony Khan said Miro will fight tonight. It's going to be his debut. So, like,
oh God,
me, bro. And it was as rotten of a first impression week 1, followed up by as dumb as you could do the match to not make him look like he's a step above. If there's anybody he could kill, it'd be the half tranny and the fucking mini mart guy. He'd be able to destroy them in a second, let alone having to feed back in, do spots, pull an extra 6 minutes. You killed him. You killed him in the water. He's dead out of the gate. Gear looked great. Gassed muscles look great. But guess what? They don't mean shit because you can't use them to beat these 2 guys who should be scrubs compared to you. It was brutally bad as it could be.
Why aren't they throwing locals at him for the first month at least? There's
Because
plenty there.
the locals are bigger than Janela.
Yeah, well, they signed the local, right? Hobbs, he was the biggest guy that they brought in locally, and they signed him. So, I mean, it looks good. He looks like a wrestler. Stevie, what are your thoughts on them as far as AEW and stuff? You mentioned, not using, local guys. You've got an established team like Sonny Kiss and Joey Janela who's starting to build some momentum.
Well, let's not get crazy with the word
Established.
established.
They've had 3 fucking matches and 2 pre-tapes.
Well, in AEW terms, that means you're getting a title shot, guys.
Yeah, well,
So I'm breaking it down to AEW terms here.
That and $14.50 will get you a fucking bag of Russo Bro coffee too. So like that's bullshit of what they want to say of established or who's this or to rib Cornette of the new Midnight Express. And that I'm down with. That's what they should be using them for, not to go 50-50 with the Russian fucking destroyer. Brutal. Sorry, Stevie, go ahead.
No, I mean, that's the thing. If they're not established, but then again, you believe they are, and then, yeah, 6 minutes is way too much. I saw some gifs of him coming in the ring. He hit Janela with that Uranagi where he doesn't go down with him. It looked like he killed him. Why isn't the match over? There was 6 minutes after that when he came, because it said he came in for the first time. Yeah, you got to throw him either out there to cut promos and explain himself and stop talking about his Twitch channel and turning around and just killing guys. He should be going through that crowd, beating people up, beating up the wrestlers in the crowd.
The second he tagged in and hit that shit, match should have been over, dude, within 30 seconds. That's the go home. Like the fact that they exposed him and he couldn't put him away, you instantly just chopped his legs out as a murderer, bro. And that's
like
what
he goes 15 with Orange Cassidy, then he just cash your check, dude.
That's what Brodie Lee did. That's exactly what Brodie Lee did. And these guys went 12. They should have gone 12.
Maybe that promo he cut in the back he was pissed about that too. And he was cutting a promo kind of like more so symbolic on the whole deal. Like this is, I could have, if I wanted this bullshit, I would have stayed where I was.
And we talked about it on Russo brand that Khan has the roadmap now. When they broke 1 million 2 weeks ago, it was because they had 45 minutes of wrestling on their show and an hour of character development sketches and things that went on. The next week, after that, he did the Scrummer press conference where he goes, we're going to listen to our audience and we're going to give them all the wrestling they need. We know that they want more wrestling than anything. Next week, they give them wall-to-wall wrestling, an hour and 15 minutes of it and a half hour of character. Ratings go down 160,000 or 140,000 people. So you lost 14% of your audience. This week, wrestling out of the gate with guys who should be going over strong, who are now exposed against guys that have no business really even being in the ring with them, let alone pulling that amount of time. And we'll see what the ratings do this week instead of getting character over in the right way or making somebody look strong. They just want to, the more time they wrestle, the more our fans will be into it. Nope. The more time, the longer they wrestle, the more opportunity you have for shitty dark order punches, for shitty spots with the girls that are going to get botched, for things like this that kill your monsters because extra time doesn't mean, oh, yay, we get to watch them wrestle more. It exposes them as not being as strong. So again, here we are at booking 101 with the boss who's never booked a show except now here's a TV show and $100 million. Good luck to you.
Well, next headline here I've got is about Ring of Honor. Jonathan Gresham pushes Ring of Honor to hire more women of color. So the Octopus, Jonathan Gresham, sat down with Wrestle Stink's managing editor Nick Schmausman on the recent episode of the Whack podcast. Discuss a wide range of issues, including Gresham's involvement in the Ring of Honor racial roundtables. The Ring of Honor star Kenny King was also on the wrestling podcast where he liked the discussions they were had in the roundtables. And Gresham expressed those same sentiments on his appearance this week. He said, I'm really happy that we're able to talk about it because I think it's one of those subjects that, like before, the current climate became what it is today. I think it was something that we all felt, but I'm going to go ahead and speak for myself. I didn't want to believe that the company I'd been in love with since 2005 had that kind of mentality in it. But then it hit me like it might not have been a malice intent. But sometimes there's just unaware of issues at hand. And so because of that, they don't deliberately put people in places they should be in. He goes on to say, I think it's a mixed bag of things because we want to speak up and say different things. In some cases, guys are afraid that saying something will get them suppressed even more. And then on the other hand, some guys like myself, I don't want the color of my skin to be a part of me getting something more. I want to be looked at as Jonathan Gresham is the best man for the job. So that's why we put him there, not that Jonathan Gresham is an African-American wrestler. Lots of more copy here, different reasons. But basically here, the conversation itself was that Ring of Honor does not have a lot of people of color in the women's division. Stevie, what do you think about that? Do you think Ring of Honor should be diversifying their culture?
Like their bonds with Wu-Tang Financial? I know you were thinking about that. So I'll dig it out once in a while. Listen, please reread. Now, Gresham, this is the interesting twist, and I know Ben's going to follow me on this. Gresham's kind of talking about more so that he just wants to be known as a talented, competent wrestler that's going to get over on his own. He doesn't want the equality of outcome. He wants the meritocracy that wrestling, should be to an extent. It's political, but am I reading his quote right? Or is it kind of different now?
He want to be regarded as an affirmative action hire. He wants to be judged like any man on the basis of his own merits and skills.
Yeah, basically what he's
and who is he married to?
And that now here we go. So now we
take it away.
The Jordan Grace, obviously, we've cataloged plenty of times. So this comes as kind of again, wanting to have it both ways. I want to do affirmative action hires for diversity. And even though I am and considered a locker room leader, I don't want to be judged as that. Well, then you don't go and hire women of color. You hire the best women for the job. And if they happen to be of color, then double bonus, right? In this thing. But you can't say you want it one way and then have it the other way that. Now, if you were looking for a great diversity hire and you want a woman of color who is every bit as good, if not better than the women you already have, then you go and hire a woman like Holiday. And she's one of the best women workers I've seen on the indies, and does a character that isn't based off of race. It's based off of being a zombie. And, she can get it done. That would fit that mold of what he's trying to do. And I think she's a phenomenal worker. If you're not familiar with her, you should be. But just giving that spot to somebody comparatively, where I could see a Christina Marie being in that Women of Honor, another great Northeastern indie worker, I believe Italian and possibly Hispanic as well, and whatnot. But, are you going to give that to a girl who's just an African-American girl who's sloppy, doesn't look good, because we need these affirmative action hires? I got a big issue with, not big, but like there's issue with that. So especially when Jordan Grace is his wife, waving the flag wherever she can and doing hypocritical moves of her own. And then I could be mistaken because I don't really watch ROH that much, but isn't he the partner of Jay Lethal?
Yes.
So you've got all that scandal with, speaking out movement tied up in there, these fake, we're going to have an investigation and nothing ever comes of it, and the political stuff. So forgive me if Nick Hausman with his cheese ass smile on Wrestle Stink with these 40-year-old man-child interviews that he's doing.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Yeah,
they're ridiculous. Like it's embarrassing. It really is. And the wrestlers, like, once they're done, go,
let's talk about this though.
Let me just make this
go first. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
The fact that they want to do these SJW things to make themselves shine and look like they're woke, and they want to have an initiative to bring in women of color. Maybe they do, but we can't even fix. How am I supposed to believe in that and take that with anything? Meanwhile, you're tagging with a guy, covering up for him, not really going in and holding people accountable, but you want to do this all other side of I've got the moral high ground when you can't even clean up what's in your own house. You know what I mean? I'm not going to be taking those things, especially with a Hausman smile behind it and some Chicago SJW shit on Wrestle Stink, to fucking put that over of like, it's a new day at ROH and they're looking for diversity over there. It's going to be women of color. That's the new fucking push. Like, I don't buy into any of that based on the other stuff that I know that goes on that they're covering up for it. Once a worker, always a worker. And this is them working the marks for a 2020 SJW push. Maybe they do want more black women, Asian women, Latino women. But I've been on the indies a while. I don't see them out there of like, she should be signed. Maybe 2 girls that I would put my name out there for to back that way that would fit this mold. Aside from that, that's just lip service for the SJW 40-year-old man children.
Before you jump in, Stevie, I also want to note here, it said in the copy, again, it's a long conversation. He said, I feel like what the fans see is a reality, but you also have to understand the talent pool for women is a lot smaller than it is for men. A lot of the women have been signed by TNA and WWE. Okay, go ahead.
Go to Damian Adams. Damian Adams got 4 girls who are probably green, but more ready for TV than everybody on their roster. It's not hard to find these girls that like, this is all little fucking lip service moves to make them look more political and not really solve the problem that they're putting out there, dude. Go ahead, Steve.
Here's my thought on this. And tell me, because I'm not familiar with the corporate structure, the management structure outside of the wrestling roster. And I'm not fully familiar with the wrestling roster. All I can say with ROH is they don't seem to be diversified enough for what they're talking about. Don't they realize, like Stephanie McMahon talked about systemic racism, talked about it, how they have to solve it and everything. AEW has openly said they want to be diverse. They want to be SJWs. They want to be this movement. ROH is joining that. Well, as far as I can see, you don't really have any people of color or women in general at the heads of these companies. You don't have Tony Khan hiring somebody to be the face of something that's an executive position for AEW or even the Jacksonville Jaguars. WWE certainly doesn't have anybody outside of Stephanie because she wouldn't tolerate anybody being more over as her. ROH has Joe Koff, and as far as I know, nobody on the front-facing side running the company, or even a female booker, a female creative person, a female agent for the boys. Do you see what I mean?
If you wanted it,
you're putting a Band-Aid on what you say is the real problem. Let's just hire some wrestlers, get our quota, and everybody will shut up.
Instead of, if you really wanted to, the announcement would be, we've hired Victoria, women's legendary wrestler, to be the new agent of our entire women's division. And then she says, I want to diversify, and I brought this person in, and I do that. Instead, it's all SJW lip service that is so transparent, so see-through, so pillow talk between him and his wife that bleeds over into a Wrestle Inc. story. Meanwhile, there's so many skeletons in the closet at ROH right now. Even the guy they brought back to be the top booker to replace Skrull, that was, he's got just as many in his closet, but because we got rid of Skrull and we put Generico back in there, that Hunter's back in there, that everything's Delirious, excuse me. That everything's going to be fine now. Because the marks have no idea of what level of scumbaggery really goes on in the upper levels of the office at every company, not just them. Steph even said she wanted to hire women writers because we need a women's perspective. I'm thinking to myself, okay, what women writers of wrestling do I know that could actually pull this shit off and write for women at a high level where I would respect them, as opposed to them just being another affirmative action hire, writing stupid shit that doesn't make any wrestling sense whatsoever. I could think of Sojo Bolt, Lady Sojo, or Josie, who's Rip Rogers and Eddie Sharkey trained. Maybe Victoria. I think Trish and them are all under contract. Lita would be about the other one. Jazz. Aside from that, I don't have fucking confidence in almost any of them to be able to step up and book something where I would bring them in to do that. Even what's the super hot blonde who married the fucking dude from the Yankees?
J-Lo?
No, the WWE chick, or she was dating whatever.
Tori Wilson.
Tori Wilson. Like, yeah, she's hot in a name. I wouldn't fucking expect Tori Wilson or Chrissy Hemme or any of them to be able to step up and start booking just because they're names from the past, Melina or any of them. They've never held the book. They never ran a women's division. They've never really coached anybody along those lines and ran that shit. So the pool of what you're trying to do by paying lip service to these fucking diversity questions the answer, if you were really true, would be like, no, it's a male dominated industry with male creatives until some woman goes and puts in her time to learn booking at OVW or NXT or be office along those ways. There's nobody qualified in the women's hire to be able to take that position. It takes 10,000 hours to learn how to book properly and to get everybody else over. Just because you're a good wrestler and because you have a name doesn't mean you're a good booker or know how to fucking put anything together to get anybody over. That one doesn't equate the other. So just to hire a woman or to hire a diversity hire, you're not going to get, you're only lowering your product every time you don't hire the best person for the job. And if that happens to be someone of a different ethnicity or sex, then fine. But 99% of the time, it's not going to be. So then you have to weigh the option of quality versus lip service. And I don't fuck around with appeasing the marks, bro.
Well, let's ask you this question. I think it needs to be repeated again. You had said that there's going to be a trend in the business. Now, COVID kind of delayed that, in my opinion, but the trend in the business, and this goes with Jonathan Gresham and Jordan Grace, especially because of the past. This kind of stuff can also, as much as you think with this type of, I'm not saying Jonathan, I'm saying more Jordan and even the Kylie Rays or other people that publicly come out like this, it will end up going the other way, and you'll end up costing yourself work. Like you said, they'll have, I don't want to quote you, but you talk about the trend and remind people of what is about to happen when shows do come back regularly to these girls.
You're a liability. You're a liability, dude, because you might do everything to kiss my ass as a booker to get on a show. And I do book you, and then you turn around, and because something happened with Sandman or Just Incredible you don't like, they bury everybody there and management. Now you're fed as fuck. Why would you even risk it for a biscuit to bring them in? Is Jordan Grace going to sell that many tickets that it's worth the risk to do that? Or are you just a mark for impact and need her on your show? Now there is some bookers who will do that based off of that. Well, I'm sure these Chicago feds will do it. But in the Northeast, if 2C-Dub comes back, that was one of my first things. And Josh did just book Kylie Ray as an announcement. I go, don't book Jordan against her, dude. I go, you're opening yourself up for fucking, he goes, I know. So along those lines, that's exactly what it is. Why would you even want to risk having a headache about it afterwards, or it affecting your business where you got to come on and do an apology because their little fan base of fucking crybabies are going to run tell that right away? I'm not even going to take the risk because of this behavior of these 24-year-olds where they think they got the vanity metrics. Any real promoter worth their salt is going, I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole. Why would I put myself at risk that way, dude? So it'll all come back around to get them. Absolutely. So good luck.
Now the thing would be right there is people would say, well, how can you say that and bury this girl behind her back and tell Josh, you're openly saying you talked to Josh and said, don't book this girl. Yeah. And you see the business in it, but that's about feelings too. You know what I mean? Like, at least you're upfront about it. Other people.
I like her matches most of the time. Her main event this week with Emma was brutally bad at the main event of Impact, but that was more of thinking that Emma could go and that Jordan Grace's technical ability could cover that, but it was a bad main for sure. And not this, I'm not saying she can't wrestle, she's not this, that, or the other, but at the end of the day, you live and die on that social media promotion as an indie, and having her on there and something could go wrong, or if they didn't like something and they're going to come back after they got their envelope and burn that bridge, it's just not even worth taking the risk, dude. Why would you?
Yeah, good calls. Well, speaking of COVID, let's see if you have anything else, Steve, you want to add to that?
No.
Okay. So it was announced. We'll talk about more here on the AEW review day with Lance Archer being announced as COVID or taking precautionary measures. But WWE NXT is apparently going through the ringer right now. So apparently some matches have to be changed due to the COVID-19 outbreak, and the main roster is also reportedly impacted. It was noted this week by Dave Schmelzer on the wrestling radio show that NXT had to restructure a lot of its creative plans for last night's show. For example, the tag team match featuring Danny Burch and Roderick Strong versus Raul Mendoza and Fabian Alkner or Achner, I don't know, was supposed to set up a future match between the Undisputed Era. However, that did not happen as Fish has not been on the show. As previously reported, Fish announcers Vic Joseph and Wade Barrett were absent from last night's show. And then Dave also went on to note that there's apparently 38 members of the NXT staff have reported or contracted the virus, while noting that the outbreak started after one of the NXT coaches tested for it backstage. And then he goes on to mention that he believes people probably started to become more lax about the situation, not wearing their mask, probably not proper social distancing, washing your hands, etc. And he said that the outbreak has also impacted the main roster and could alter plans this coming week on Raw and SmackDown. And it says that earlier this week, Florida-based reporter John Alba also noted that the outbreak may have led to a decent effect on the product's creative plans. Alba also reported that some people within NXT had ignored protocols such as wearing a mask, especially in spots in the backstage area where people congregate. Stay tuned for more updates from them at whatever.
Stevie, remember in the Royal Rumble 99 when everybody got the flu and they canceled the Royal Rumble because no one could work because everyone was a huge pussy?
Yes, I do.
Stevie,
I also remember when 9/11 happened and the company completely ignored it and didn't acknowledge it on TV.
You know, Jordan never got a ring that year when he got a flu in Game 6. He just didn't play. That was it. It was it. That was done. That was
fucking
the season.
Common cold and snivels is what's doing it. If you want everything, let's go back to fucking when you're 5 years old and one kid gets chickenpox. What do the rest of the parents do?
Chickenpox party.
That's right. So all of them can get it and everybody's let them go fucking chain and sweat all over each other so everyone can get the common cold and we can get over it together and stop this stupid cunting around every fucking week, dancing the fucking dance for this shit. You got a fucking runny nose and it's tough for you to breathe. Knock 2 minutes off your fucking match. Go out there and get over. It's not the
biggest voluntary health risk that these talents are taking, by the way, right, Ben? the pipeline is taking care of much. You could end up shaving some years off your life, not getting.
I'm feeling so the pipeline, or I'm feeling a lot better. I kicked COVID. Now let me fucking do a dive through the middle rope out to the fucking concrete. I think that'll be smart for me. I couldn't wrestle when I had a fever of 99.9. But you know that now that I'm feeling better because the doc told me I am, let me go out there and fucking dive myself into the fucking concrete.
Or let me take this and I'll just call it a vaccine. And I'll gain 20 pounds of muscle.
Yeah.
It works. It helps. Yeah. But apparently a lot of the COVID is going around right now. So WWE and AEW, everyone's really, according to them, the wrestlers.
You fucking pussies.
All right. So next one here, Charlotte Flair teases a return and she provides some updates on her WWE hiatus. Although there is no word on when she will be back in action, Charlotte provided an update on her Instagram story, screen grab, whatever. I took 8 weeks off of the gym. I took 8 weeks off from the gym, ready to find my groove again.
That's here with me already.
Yeah, I know.
Who was this?
Charlotte Flair.
Oh, wow.
So Ric Flair recently appeared also on the podcast, and he noted that Charlotte might be out of action the rest of the year since WWE does not intend to rush her back or re-aggravate any of her injuries she had previously. She's fine, but by the time she knows about her personal physician and the company doctors have reinforced it, that she can't hurry the process. Otherwise, we're going to be right back with the stuff that she does, the moonsaults, and the way she lands and taking knees and everything. She's got to be 100%. So Ric Flair is basically saying, they want to make sure that she can come back and re-injure herself. She's got to be 100% to re-injure herself.
Well,
is that what I'm reading?
Because the story last week was she wants to come back before so she can do a comeback and then leave to go have a family with Andrade. So why the fuck are you even coming back to do like a 6-month thing to maybe get somebody over before you get pregnant? It just doesn't jive with me, man. And even the fact I was thinking, like, what kind of relationship is that? This guy can barely speak English on camera. Some great love story where they don't understand each other that well, dude. of what's going on. Well, there you go. She hasn't hit the gym and she's got shredded abs. So, it's kind of ridiculous of why we keep having these standards. And I knew that was coming once Steph and Game started the mommy and daddy and TVG shit. That's why we have TVG, is because Vince is a grandparent, and it's because it's pop culture for Stephanie and Game to have little kids. So everybody else must have wrestling entertainment geared towards little kids. Now we have it with Seth and Becky, and we have it with the Bellas, and they all sell pictures of their kids because they think they're fucking Jay-Z and Beyonce, and we give a shit about Blue Moon or whatever the fuck you named your kid. And and they can sell it for 75 fucking grand. Now the Bellas are doing it. Now the same thing is, so Charlotte and her can get it. And we have to care about some 6-month-old who I don't give a shit about. And it's just more of the pop culture of, this is just the method you play when you're famous to capitalize off of things. And all of that is morally, ethically retarded, in my opinion.
I have a strange conspiracy theory. Do you think, much like with 9/11, when that plane landed in Cleveland and everybody got off because of the bomb threat, and then it continued on, but the people are nowhere to be found? What happened to all the NXT fans when the Thunderdome started?
That is interesting. Maybe they were all digitized.
Do you think the one guy who slept against the plexiglass was enough for Vince to pay millions of dollars for the Amway Center? That set off like $10-20 million to spend right off the bat because of that guy. He should be like, you don't know Braden Walker 3D DVD set they have up on YouTube they advertise for? The best of Braden Walker. We need to have a documentary based on that guy leaning against the plexiglass. He changed the direction of world wrestling entertainment forever.
That and the guy who yelled out "eye for an eye" after they had the first
match. Oh, he's dead. That guy's dead. You murdered him right away. That would probably be the best moment in WWE in the past 20 years. An eye for an eye and sleeping against the plexiglass. There you go.
And I don't think you're that far off. That could have been the things that we can't have these assholes out there yelling that stuff, man. Get the marks back. And now we're in the Thunderdome again, dude.
So after much speculation, gentlemen, a Retribution member has admitted that he is behind the mask.
Oh, I'm sorry. No. Sorry about that.
That's fine.
What was that? Retribution you said?
Retribution.
Retribution. So after some speculation, Shane Thorne apparently confirmed on Twitter that today, or this would have been yesterday, that he is the man behind the Slapjack character in Retribution. Thorne, real name Shane Hayes, took to Twitter this afternoon and commented on his name change, referring to how he worked the WWE Raw main event this week. Neither main evented night. Raw Slapjack did on night one. That's Retribution, he wrote. Sorry, I was trying to read his tweet. It was hard to read. Monday's Raw main event saw Slapjack, Mace, which is Dio Madden, T-Bar, that's what Dominic Dijak is going by, I guess. Battle the Hurt Business, Cedric Alexander, Shelton Benjamin, WWE United States Champion Bobby Lashley to a DQ, which was in the in-ring debut for Retribution. If you'd like to hear more thoughts on the Raw and SmackDown review, you can go listen to.
I'm going to follow up right here. I got two up.
Hold on, one more thing. T-Bar also took to Twitter and called out CM Punk. Go ahead, sorry.
Okay. It's about time. From Pro Wrestling and Wrestle Stink from ProWrestling.com, WWE has reported it has major plans. Yeah, I do have major plans for Retribution. They made their long-awaited debut, all that shit. Mia Yim, Mercedes Martinez, copy from Wrestle Stink. Retribution segment reportedly met with laughter backstage at WWE Raw. The developments in the Retribution storyline from last night's Raw are receiving a lot of mixed feedback on social media. Now the world is presentation of the group was a hot topic of discussion backstage at the Amway Center last night. As reported today by WrestleVotes that the presentation of Retribution was a major topic of discussion last night backstage and was met with laughter at times backstage. Quote, the masks and names are already making the road for these guys impossible to climb, noted the source. As noted, it was announced last night that the 5 core members of the group are those assholes. So, dude, this is going to be the greatest thing ever. It's T-Bar. And then fucking people backstage looking at each other going, okay. Time clock's ticking. You got 30 days after Survivor Series. Retribution is no more, you guys. It's that quick of a failed experiment from clueless 70-year-olds who have no idea how to do Antifa, anti-establishment terrorism, ripping off from Fight Club and actually applying it. They can't even do the bare minimum the right way. So T-Bar, I'll see you on the ski slopes, buddy.
I'll do my people seem to like the impression. Okay. Your 6-week push has defeated you. This is dude. Hey, I mean, they all got COVID from laughing at Retribution. They all the spittle and the laughter. So Retribution is taking out the company one way or the other. Dude, I can't. This Shane Thorne kid is a big dude. He looked like a little manager. I thought it was Robbie E at first under the mask. It's so small. The 7-foot guys look like they're our size. You cannot dress. It's hard to make a 7-foot guy look small. And the 7-foot guy who has no poison presence will help that along. But the company has dressed these people to look like midget ninjas. They look no different than the ninjas that are with Tozawa. They just have different masks on. And then you put a mask on Mia Yim that's 3 sizes too big. It's hanging off her chin like me with a face mask at Target. It's just crazy. Like, by the way, for those she's got blue hair and she's Asian, but you can't figure out if you take 5 seconds. Plus, she tweeted out that she's in Retribution. This guy tweets out he's in Retribution. So how's it when you unmask them? What's the big deal?
I was going to point out, I watched Raw on Monday at the hotel, fell asleep to it. First time I've probably watched Raw in about a year. And I thought you guys were joking every week on the Raw and SmackDown review when you talk about ninjas. I didn't realize there was actual ninjas on the show. Yeah, I saw Tozawa in the water.
The best part is when I think it was Jerry Lawler said that he hopes that Ron Killings gets little Jimmy gets washed out to sea, because that no other wrestlers, it hasn't happened this year to anybody else in real life.
Not tasteless at all, right on time. And another $2,000 fine, unfortunately for Mia Yim. I like her work, I like the character, but that phone just has to get these hands. We can't have enough of it. The HBIC yesterday, straight out of Retribution, posting pictures of her dogs while she cheers on Tegan Knox on fucking WWE on NXT. You're on the main roster.
Tegan Knox is pretty. She's got a positive attitude. She has Tegan Fox WWE, so she already thinks she's going to get called up. There you go. I was going to say this: if Keith Lee was cutting a promo, how terrible it was? How would he do that, Ben?
About how terrible that is, posting it on there. Honey, I don't know why you keep posting these mark-ass posts exposing yourself on Twitter, because we both just got called up to the main roster, and now that we have joint bank accounts, the $30,000 fines really could affect next month's mortgage payment on the condo. And then she goes, you know what? Charity stream, post hashtag WWNXT, Grand Theft Auto, bitches. And that was 9 hours ago. There's your retribution.
Well, I mean, you're not the only one. CM Punk, on Twitter, he was like, when you're standing around in catering and you find an abundance of paper plates. And he was talking about Slapjack's mask. And then they responded, you mock my brother Slapjack because you are a coward like every current and former WWE superstar. You tease leading Retribution, but we will not follow you like the failure to your nexus. We will destroy this place piece by piece, including you, if you ever show up.
He's like, cool. He's like, cool story, bro. It's New Comics Day at Chicago Comics. It's Wednesday.
And Fox still pay me $2 million a year while you're down there.
And Slab Nuts fucking changing his shit on Twitter to expose himself instead of waiting to have that as part of the storyline. Like, the complete mark out nature online of these NXT talents. I said this on the Impact Attack as well. Their phones need to be confiscated. right at the beginning of the show, just like a Dave Chappelle concert. They are not allowed to use it. And anybody who's in a mythical kayfabe storyline, if you're doing that stuff on Twitter, it's 1,000 for each one of those tweets.
I disagree with you.
Okay.
Take them off TV.
Sure.
Why should the company, and I'm saying this as somebody that never really, in my era, I hate to say it like that, but they didn't take care of the talent. They didn't cater to the talent one bit. If one picture like that, if there was a Twitch back then, the silent heat, and you just would be like, well, we just got nothing for you. We just sit you at home 4 or 5 months. And they know you're not on a weekly, that you're on a draw, meaning when you get booked and you're on pay-per-views, royalty checks, those come through as you work. They play that and leverage that. And this time, I think it would be, you're on mark, so how do we hurt you? Not with a cash fine, not with this and that, not punishing you by pushing you on TV to punish you by taking the one thing away that you value. Look, Mom, I'm on TV. Look, I'm on TV. Look at me. Nope, don't look at me. I'm not on TV because I posted an Instagram post and I've been off TV for 6 months, and they can throw another girl in there and nobody will miss me. That's the way you got to think critically about your own spot. Because would anybody
put Blackheart right in there, dude?
You could put it.
Why not?
You could put anybody in any one of those spots. Then nobody's going to go, wait, that guy was 7 foot last week. They don't care. That's why I think secretly Vince has 20 of them. Yeah, my Retribution name.
It's hit.
Good one.
Call me Red Band. Red Band.
You're gonna have to put
the SEO Red Band trailer. That'll get going. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I think in a way they have 10, 15 of them because they don't think the 4 or 5 they have out there right now are really going to get over. And they're hoping and praying that Owens, that Punk, that somebody steps in to take this and then kill all of them off and then be the one person in there.
That's Dark Order 101. We've got this idea. We have no idea who's going to be the leader. So we'll shuffle it around until we hopefully land on something that might be believable, like they did with.
You're landed on the guy they shouldn't have put in there.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
I agree. Then backstage on Raw, they lay them all out in some shitty vignette. The Hurt Biz does. But they come back at the end of the show. So apparently getting your ass kicked by Bobby Lashley, not that, within an hour you can recover and come back to fuck around. Like that's how strong you are. And during that, when they're all laid out on the ground, she must have been faking, because on her Instagram within that 10 minutes, she was posting her beauty shot from the beginning of Raw while that beating was supposed to be taking place backstage by the Hurt Business. Like, I just don't know. And what confounds me is I looked at her as a pro. Like, she was on Impact. She should know more than these super green girls. But it's just, I guess it's in Florida. They didn't get in trouble for it. Chelsea Green didn't get in trouble for it. They didn't get in trouble for it. So I'm going to do what I want to do. And there is no repercussions for it. Well, now there's no angle for Retribution either. No one cares. And they didn't care from the start. This isn't help. Those type of moves aren't helping that at all. You know what I mean? So brutally bad. Her and Keith Lee should get the fuck off of the internet and go work on promos together. If you really wanted your husband to succeed and be a top guy, he's got a lot of work to do. And playing Grand Theft Auto and snapping dog pics for Instagram and Twitter does not show me that you're serious about becoming a superstar legend, bro.
Just to let you know too, like that's the problem today, in a way that, like, I had sort of a main event spot in 2000 with Right to Censor, but still only his manager. Never was in a Royal Rumble, never Survivor Series, never really got the next level of that push. But that was after being in the company for almost 2 years and going through and being on the medals, the Jack, the dark matches, doing little stuff here and there, and something came up. It's inverse now. So, like, basically you come in and on day one, which I swear to God, if they said, we want you to come in on day one and we want you to be right in the main event and jump board and do all this stuff in that, and if I was getting paid the same money no matter what, I would be like, well, God, guys, can't you give me like 3 to 4 weeks of vignettes and then like some locals for like another 3 to 4 weeks? And maybe I beat somebody that's sort of over, but their spot is to get people over. I know that spot because I was in that spot. And then with that build up, the people can say, this guy can measure up to Randy Orton, not the out of nowhere. Who is this guy? Nobody cares. Because when the viewers say, who is this guy? It's not like the commentators, who is this guy? They're going to say, fuck is this guy? I don't care. But if they see vignettes and they see you beat somebody and they're like, oh, dude, now I can't wait to see because this guy's been running through everybody. Let's see what he does against this guy. Keith Lee should have maybe possibly at least asked if that's a possibility because now he only has one spot, one way to go, down. He's not going to hang on to that spot because his promos aren't going to impress Vince for too long. And even if they did, Vince gets bored so easily. You got to do whatever you can to get yourself to where he loves you and that's your spot forever. It's just a bad spot to be in. How many people come in at the top and then go to the bottom? Finn Balor, AJ, all these other guys just it's a trajectory just from the top to the bottom.
I mean, I'm not sure how much more he can do without being put into the red Star Trek thing at this point, just because it's how they're going to want to rib him afterwards from the way he's talking. He needs to find a captivating way to do things and change shit up. Otherwise, it's going to be a rough ride ahead, especially body wise, because they're just looking for any reason to fucking tear you down, even though they've invested all this time in you, man. It's crazy. And there's a new woman of color coming up. I saw the vignette, this new girl, Bianca Belair. I'm excited for her debut. I think that's going to be really good when she comes to the roster for the first time.
Oh, that video was bad. Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah,
that was bad. That was a bad video.
Put this over. Like, she comes out, does the Montez Ford thing. We know they're married. We know she's got the big hair whip. She's over in NXT. And now we're going to do some stupid vignette after she's been on the main roster 4 or 5 times to introduce her. Everything is ass backwards and stupid, bro.
What was that vignette supposed to tell us about her? How were we supposed to be impressed? And it literally looked like the only way I can think about the camera cuts, it was just in HD, was something like Fuji Vice. Like, it was just parody, wasn't it? It felt like a parody of this guy can't lift anything, with obviously he probably could deadlift 135 pounds, but then she can do. Is that supposed to mean, is she going to have it? Now, if she's going to have intergender matches, if you're planting the seed that she's going to wrestle guys, that's something. I don't know. My thought is they won't do it right, but yeah, I know everybody. I love getting credit for the vignettes 6 months later.
A lot of people post that on Twitter this week. I got 3 of those. I can't wait for the vignettes in 6 months. I'm like, Stevie. It's fucked, and that is also on production as well, and it starts at the top and trickles down. Like,
wait a minute, she's the EST of WWE. Is that Eastern Standard Time?
She is.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
Estrogen. I don't know what the fuck the EST means. Like, these dumb little
established. Is that what she was saying? Like, WWE established? Is that what EST acronym is for? Is that? That's what I thought it was.
I think it means.
See, we watch this shit. We're not even casual fans that are seeing this for the first time, and we don't even know. We got to Google it. Do you think a casual viewer is going to look at that and go, "She's the EST of what?" And somebody in the 18 to 49 age group is going to go, "Holy shit! Can't wait for that T-shirt to come out." Like.
And what is that? That's Triple H giving them a false positive at NXT with these moron fans from Florida who want to get themselves over where she's the EST of NXT. And like, that means something.
Rhymes, pal.
Yeah, that means something to about 400 tape trader masturbators sitting in your fucking front row with Happy Lana Day shirts on. That's it. Anybody else past that, it's a false positive. And if you believe it, you're a mark-ass booker, and you really don't know how over or under your product is because you're so in the bubble. The entire thing with her is the fucking hair whip around gimmick. If we don't do anything with that to get the establishment over as the new character, you're dead in the water to start with. She couldn't solve the mystery of the poisoning of her husband. And
nor does she care. Can't grieve forever.
Doesn't give a shit. Like, I pinned her shoulders to the mat, 1, 2, 3, solved. This homicide is solved. Like, just absolutely insulting of all of our intelligence. And then what are they going to have her do? They're going to have her get in people's face, just like Kiera Hogan and Tasha Steelz on Impact. And they're going to have her clapping in people's face, doing all the black attitude that you fucking can have. So meanwhile, when we say we want to empower women, the reality is let's get the most stereotype.
Because they're playing well. That's playing well on social media, and they're coming off as baby faces in every video I've ever seen. So she'll be a baby face that's clapping in people's faces, snapping and doing the fucking finger wag. And that's supposed to make me go, wow. She means business.
She is seriously about BLM. Like, dude, it's just brutal. This is what you get when you have 50 to 75-year-old white men trying to write for young people who have no idea how to get their business over. And they're not even doing it continuity-wise, congruently to build that person up, to even give them any equity.
Is there a deeper dig here? I mean, if your moniker is going to be named or made by WWE, right? Established by WWE, it sounds like it's saying that we own her, or I'm Bianca Belair, WWE made, created. I mean, that's how they look into that.
That's exactly how they look at it at WWE. Maybe not her, but the reality of that. When she tries to go to NXT or when she tries to go to AEW to face Big Swole and she's no longer the EST of anything, she'll have to change all that. She'll be the Pacific Standard Time of fucking AEW after that. There's no, like, you thought you were defined as that and they put you over and that was going to be some great thing. And as quick as that is, they'll snatch that right back and you'll change your name from Rusev to Miro and be wearing a pink fucking Mickey Mouse shirt on your debut because you're that clueless about how to get yourself over because of the false positives of these NXT fucking marks.
Stevie, any final thoughts? I don't have any more stories, guys. So
that's all good.
Oh, she's the strong-assed in WWE. That's what.
Oh, the strong-assed.
But sure, she can't say she's the strongest. It takes way too long. TV time is valuable, so she has to say EST, even though strongest has 2 syllables, EST has 3. Let's not split hairs on this, please, or twist hairs, or flip hairs, or spin hairs, or whatever it's called. Yeah, EST, man, Mandy Rose coming soon to Raw, standing in front of the John Moxley brick wall that I run my head into every Tuesday before I have to fucking talk about this shit.
Brutality, man. She's got strength. She's got athleticism. The money is putting her with the Street Profits. None of this shit is going to get over on its own. None of it. Same as breaking up the Iconics. I said 6 weeks they'll be back together. No, I was wrong. 4 weeks they were back together, and this will run the same course along.
You want to talk about diversity? You want to talk about a new age or something? I can picture her and Montez being like the black version of Macho Man and then Liz, like up to date 2020 version.
Why wouldn't you make them Michelle and Barack in the ring? You know.
She's got true, but they got a lot of over the top energy and charisma that reminds me of. He has all those moves. He has all the cool moves. He has charisma, but he has that larger than life type of savage type personality where he can do wild shit and it comes off like a little.
And here we are where we could have them. We could have Mickey and Magnus. We could have Natty and TJ. We could have who else?
Cross and Scarlett.
Andrade and Charlotte. Cross and Scarlett. Here's your power, and even bring back Steph and Game. Like here's your power struggle. Mickey and Magnus all together. Edge and Beth. Like, you have these couples. Are you going to do something? No, we're going to do things that fail and not get them over and not bring in Magnus because Bruce want to be embarrassed and this, that, and the other. That's where the real money is. They know it, and they refuse to pull the trigger on it.
It was also, I don't know, creeped me out a little bit, just her smiling, Bianca Belair, in this. Like, every time she would do something, like,
yeah.
Oh, that's the smile thing, the Ronda Rousey smile. I heard that way back when I was there.
Smile is it just looks so fake and plastic. That's all. That's all the stories I've got. Unless you've got anything else, gentlemen. Here we're hitting about 2
hour
hours
and 50. Plenty of fucking wrestle talk as we got to come back and do AEW Light the Fuse as well here in just about a half hour, 35 minutes. We'll be back here at twitch.tv/Conspiracy Horseman to do that one. You guys
Vince taking back control,
taking it over. I can't relinquish that too long.
But let's go ahead and announce the 5-star finalists since we're at the end of the show, guys. So for those who weren't paying attention, Hamin Media Group, our second affiliate channel, HaminMediaGroup.podbean.com, we launched a 5-star search over the course of August, September, if you will. And we narrowed it down to these 6 podcasts because we decided fuck 5 stars. So
and thank you to everybody who submitted. If you don't make the final 6 here, it was a tough competition for those kind of. We had 3 or 4 that we knew were going to be in there, and there was probably 5, 6 of them past that were fighting for these last 2 spots. So don't think that if you didn't make the top 6 that your stuff wasn't listened to or wasn't appreciated. It was really great response to all this with a lot of established podcasts already and people trying to get out of the gate. So you never know what could happen. Just keep plugging away and creating content. That's the most important thing, you guys. This isn't some battle of the band shit to just get friends over and whatnot. We really wanted to have creators pushing themselves and making some outside of the box content. Go ahead, Matt.
Yep. So the top 6 here in no particular order. 2 in with Sergio and the Vet.
Yeah.
Those guys are OVW guys too. They're professional wrestlers, and of course they made the cut. They sounded great.
I was pumped to see that because I didn't know Serge and the Vet even had one. And if you're going to say the name of that podcast, because 2 in sounds like something else, but like do you know what that means or not?
No.
That's Rip Rogers. That's straight out of Rip Rogers' practice where Rip goes 2 in and you fucking 2 guys get in the ring. 4 in.
Gotcha.
Fucking tag match. So 2 in is a very inside name. And when you say it, you got to say it as 2 in.
2 in with Sergio and the Vet.
Yeah.
So that's the first one. The second one is the War on Morons podcast. They have sponsored us in the past, but I didn't. And to be quite clear, guys, I brought on them for sponsors. I didn't review the show. I had somebody else review it. I had Rick actually review it and a couple other people because I wanted to remain unbiased. And it was pushed forward. War on Morons. Another one of our sponsors, Rat Salad Review. That was reviewed by Colin and a couple other people. They liked the metal aspect and thought it would be good for you guys as well. Expand the music listenership.
We got 80s and there's a big metal contingent out there. Absolutely. And like I said, I'm not worried about all wrestling shows all the time. So this is kind of a throwback to that Headbangers Ball type stuff, man. Pretty cool. Maybe not my niche, but there's a lot of people who love it.
The next 3, Boar Meets World, a Boy Meets World podcast. And I listened to one episode and I don't know where they're from, but they got like a dry humor to it. It's pretty funny. They're like, on today's episode, Topanga did this. Did she? Yeah, I guess she did. So like they're pretty funny. They
were in the chat room the other night saying they submitted, and I go, I hate Boy Meets World. I think it's one of the worst shows ever fucking created. And that whole time of late 90s, 2000s was that TGI Friday. Like, compare the One Brothers work to Fred Savage's work in the Wonder Years, and there's a whole group of whole generation of Generation Y that grew up with Boy Meets World. And I think the acting is terrible. The laugh track is terrible. The writing is terrible. The next door neighbor is terrible. All the child actors are terrible. It's fucking brutally bad. That being said, I love that there's a podcast dedicated directly to something along this line. And it's something that I actually hate as a show. If you were to say what's one of the worst shows ever made, that's probably in my top 5. And the fact that we have an opportunity to give a shot at that, I love that about Hamin Media Group, to be able to, something I don't like, but it might light somebody else's fire, and they're in the finals because of it, man.
It's the next one. Everybody Loves Raymond show recap. Is that the next one?
It could be.
Got him.
Our last two here. This is a variety show where they discuss 10 topics each episode. It's called the 10-Man Podcast. So that you can go check them out. They do different topics from sports, anime, TV. It's a variety show. 10 topics each episode, which I thought would be cool to add into the mix here. Have you guys listen to, and definitely diversify the content we're putting out on Hamin Media Group. Last one is Women Pile Drivers, Men and Sex. It is the WPMS radio, and they are, of course, not to sound biased, but one of the wives is married to Mr. Ted the Man Beast. So go check that out and vote it. Their pilot is on YouTube. You can go watch it right now. So go watch it, and I'll put all the links out later. And at least subscribe and share, and at least help grow them. We need more women talking about wrestling. In my opinion, it just it gets dull at times from hearing dudes always talking about it. So it's nice to have some variety. And I definitely like the WPMS play on it too. The PMS, women PMS. I like the play on the words there. So that is your 6 finalists, guys. So we will put out the information here probably next week on how to vote. And then we'll get our votes going, and then we'll make Ben Hamin listen to some podcasts, and then he can choose his winner, and we'll choose our winner, and then you can choose your winner, and we'll collectively choose one winner. But who knows? There might be 1 or 2 that ended up on Hamin Media Group. You guys have watched Tough Enough in the past. You know how this works.
Mm-hmm. All 5, 6 of those are great. It can stand alone, like I said. And if you didn't make it into the finals, it doesn't mean your show sucked. It might mean your show sucked, but it really didn't. We had a lot of competition in those last 2 spots. Probably 5 names that any one of them could have filled in there. So if you didn't make the final cut, sorry about that, but thank you so much for submitting. And I think this is something we're going to continue to do once a year. I really like having the chance to give people an opportunity who've been doing hard work and want to expand using Hamin Media Group and Russo brand and Stevie Richards brand to increase their following. That's the hardest thing to do in this new media platform. So we're looking to add a new general, or a new sergeant at least, to the fold here, man. I think we're going to find some really good stuff. Looking forward to see what you guys vote for out there.
Well, guys, you can, of course, follow me on Twitter and on Instagram at Matthew_Schaffer. I don't have any new spots, Stranger Sally. I just got to come on to the Friday Locker Room. They're not going to let me in here every week. This is just like you've been working hard to get to come hang out with us and go back to your spot. But you can check me out on the Impact Attack, like the Fuse podcast for AEW and Impact reviews. You can also check out Suck My Balls podcast, South Park Review. That'll be coming out today. I'm a little behind on the move, but it's edited. I just got to upload it and do a graphic. So that'll be up later. Star Trek Triple D's podcast will be up later, as well as the New Force Order podcast will be up later. Got a lot of podcasts to get on, but they'll be here. Hamin Media Group, hackerhamin.podbean.com. Mr. Force USA, Stevie Richards Fitness, Yoga Man, Right to Censor, Blue World Order Leader. What's going on?
Yes, I'm working on getting free production equipment as we record this episode here. Trying to get Black Magic Design to send me some pocket cinema cameras, some switchers. All you know about that stuff, right, Matt? You know about Black Magic?
Yeah.
So we have SteveRichardsFitness.com. We just like you guys, I tend to be a one-man production crew, so I got to get the equipment where I can. And SteveRichardsFitness.com is what I created all that stuff using the equipment. Check out the 12 and 16-week resistance band training program. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Got about 63.5 thousand subscribers. Probably spinning off some of the content. Myself, Ben, and John Prester. John, did you get that email, Ben?
I'm not sure if I did or not. But
John Prester reached out to me after the show last night because of the Apoca Box and Alpha Outpost and all the survival and outdoor gear that I have. And he thinks it'd be a great idea for us to kind of, like, you guys being experienced, me being new, my wife being in on it too, to have the overhead camera shot and us kind of stream or record, putting the flint knife together, doing different things, kind of talking me through some stuff there will be maybe an interesting type of content.
Sure.
We'll iron it out, figure it out, try to figure out what we're going to do with that. But look for maybe another channel with non-fitness content. The channel with the most subscribers right now will probably generally be health, fitness. That morning warm-up thing will be in the playlist, but I'll try to spin off the technology tutorials, reviews, and stuff off of that, because YouTube and the internet only want you to be a one-trick pony, and I can't fight the SEO anymore. It's hurting all the content and all the affiliate stuff, so I have to kind of move that over. But speaking of affiliates, if you go to forceu8.com or diamondbackfitness.com, you can enter the code Stevie5 or Retribution. I'll try to get that code if I can. Save some money. Check out the affiliate links. They're in the description on each and every YouTube video, and that is about it. Oh, check out my wife's Career Junkie podcast, please. If you're going to do anything, subscribe, listen to those episodes. She's up. We've recorded probably 3 or 4 ahead right now, but we got 20 episodes up,
Nice. Good.
17 live, and we got another one today with somebody that worked with Jeff Devlin from Stonehouse Revival. So 2 women that are actually did tile stuff and DIY stuff. So interesting guest indeed, and the format and the structure cannot be matched. Trust us, we don't have any on our shows.
Captain Prince of Sod, Civil Warrior.
Yeah, man. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing the rest of the day. I'm Light the Fuse, but who knows if that's going to switch around. You're on Light the Fuse, right?
Yeah.
All right, with RBV, because Sil was just hitting me up. I don't know what shape he's in or not. It's crazy. Switch up September, like you said, all of our shows mixing in guests. So glad to have MSG join us here today and take over the controls, so I didn't have to read all that brutal copy and get Hausman hot by doing it. Yeah, what else is going on? I don't even really know what the fuck this weekend. It's anniversary weekend. I got 6 wives with anniversaries on the same day, so I'll be doing that. So I'll be to get a hold of. Yeah, I know.
You're gonna be really tired this weekend, huh?
Big time tired, big time. But thankfully to Stevie Richards Fitness, I can go longer than 2 minutes because of the red band. So yeah, man, you guys know where it is. ProWrestlingTees.com/bin Hamin. No bookings yet to really put out there and make up, but thank you for everybody following the Hamin Media Group on YouTube. We had some our highest views on the me versus Braun shoot. Plenty of great thumbnails. Thanking Ted the Man Beast over there getting those up. Thanks to Kaz and Plaja for all of their video micro content editing that they're taking out of our Russo's brand stuff, our Hamin Media Group stuff. Raw and SmackDown review on Russo's brand was hella fun again this week, and Master Shoot had them doing some spit takes. They were laughing their asses off already. So if you haven't been a hardcore subscriber over there at russosbrand.com or patreon.com/RussoTWC, I don't know what the hell you're waiting for. Don't spend your money on any other of that bullshit. There's no need to do it. But we'll be back. Twitch.tv/Conspiracy Horseman. You know where to keep it locked live. Twitch.tv/Hamin Media Group and Twitch.tv/Horror Junkyard. As we expand the network, you guys, we appreciate you following and subscribing to all of these subscriptions. I think are 30% off to it. Twitch all through September. So good savings along the ways. And we appreciate you keeping our media platform as free as possible, guys, because it's all about the underground in this time of propaganda and misinformation, or as we talked about on the Conspiracy Horseman, tailored propaganda and misinformation to you. So listen to all these shows of what we got going on. You're going to be not woke, but awake. Woke is not the thing you want to be. Awakened to the surroundings is where you want to be. And there's no better place to do it than Hamin Media Group with MSG, Stevie Richards, the Monday, Wednesday, Friday podcast, the Conspiracy Horseman, Impact Attack, Light the Fuse, Billy Ray Valentine, who else? Crow 777, Bello, or the right side podcast. We got it all going down right here, and it's all for free, you guys, and we appreciate you.
All right, guys. Well, that's another edition of your Friday Locker Room, declassified Friday Locker Room. And I'm Matthew Schaffer. We'll be back in a little bit here. Y'all, peace, guys. Appreciate you dropping by.